Have you ever wondered what really happens to men who live alone without a woman by their side? Many people think it is just about loneliness or struggle, but the truth goes much deeper, and in many cases, it is surprisingly powerful. Today on Elderly Wisdom, we are pulling back the curtain on the 6 real truths about men who live this way, and what we are about to share might completely change the way you see solitude in later life. Stay with me until the end, because truth number 6 might just be the one that opens your eyes the most. Before we begin, take a moment to tap the like button and subscribe to Elderly Wisdom, because here we share honest insights that speak straight to the heart of living well after 60. Now let us get started. Truth number 1. A life of self-reliance. When a man lives alone without a woman, he learns to rely on himself in ways he might never have imagined. It begins with simple daily routines like cooking, cleaning, and managing the home. At first, these tasks can feel awkward, especially for those who grew up in times when household duties were often shared differently. But as time goes on, something shifts. What begins as necessity turns into pride. The man starts to see that every meal cooked, every room cleaned, every small repair done is a sign of independence. Self-reliance builds a quiet confidence. It gives a man the assurance that he can handle his own life without needing to depend on anyone. Psychologists often describe autonomy as one of the strongest pillars of well-being, and this truth becomes clear in solitude. When you know you can take care of yourself, you stand taller inside. Take the story of Thomas, a 72-year-old widower who once struggled to make even a simple meal. He used to burn pasta and undercook eggs, but over time he learned. He began to experiment with new recipes. He found joy in setting the table for himself. He even invited a neighbor once a week to share dinner. The kitchen became a place of growth and pride, not just survival. And here is what most people do not realize: self-reliance does not mean isolation. Men who live alone often become more intentional about their connections. They reach out to family and friends not because they must, but because they want to. That choice makes every interaction more meaningful. They no longer depend on company to fill silence. They choose it for the joy it brings. So when you see a man living alone, remember he is not always lonely. Many of these men are discovering a strength they never knew they had. They are learning to stand steady on their own feet, and that is something worth respecting. Truth number 2. A home that reflects his soul. The second truth is that a man's home becomes a mirror of his inner world. When there is no one else arranging the furniture, choosing the colors, or deciding where the photographs go, the space becomes deeply personal. For some men, it might be simple with a few treasured items. For others, it may be filled with hobbies and collections. Every chair, every photo, every keepsake tells a story. Older men who live alone create spaces that are not about impressing anyone, but about peace and authenticity. A worn recliner might not look stylish, but to him it is comfort and familiarity. Research shows our surroundings shape our emotions. A home that feels genuine to who we are can lift the spirit, lower stress, and make us feel secure. Take Richard, a 68-year-old jazz lover. His home is modest, but his shelves are lined with records and his evenings are filled with soft trumpet sounds. His space may not look perfect to visitors, but it feels perfect to him. It is not a showroom. It is his sanctuary. Some say a home without a woman's touch feels incomplete, but that is not true. It is simply different. It reflects individuality instead of compromise. It is not about matching curtains, but about belonging to a space that finally feels like your own. After decades of sharing and adjusting, many men find deep healing in that freedom. If you are still here watching, please comment number 2 below to let us know you are enjoying these insights, and do not forget to subscribe to Elderly Wisdom for more inspiring truths about later life. Truth number 3. A rhythm shaped by choice. When a man lives alone, his days flow according to his own rhythm. No one tells him when to wake, when to eat, or how to spend his weekend. His time becomes entirely his own, and that is a kind of freedom many never experience until later in life. He can rise with the sun or sleep in. He can eat breakfast at dawn or skip it entirely. He can watch a movie late into the night or enjoy a quiet morning walk. This autonomy shapes his identity and mental peace. Psychologists often say that control over routine supports mental health and reduces anxiety. In solitude, that control becomes personal empowerment. Think again of Thomas. He starts each morning tending his small garden. Watering those plants gives him peace and purpose. Nobody tells him it is too early or too late. That choice, that rhythm keeps him grounded in the present. Of course, freedom also means responsibility. Some men may fall into habits that are not healthy. Staying up late, eating irregularly, or spending too much time alone. But over time, many find balance. They learn that stability does not come from someone else's structure, but from their own choices. That balance builds dignity. Every decision, big or small, becomes a quiet reminder that they are steering their own lives, and that brings a satisfaction that words can barely describe. Truth number 4. A silence that speaks volumes. One of the most misunderstood parts of living alone is the silence. Many fear it at first, because silence can feel like emptiness. But over time, that same silence transforms into peace. Without constant noise from conversation, television, or background chatter, the mind begins to rest. The man starts to hear the sounds he once ignored. The chirping of birds, the gentle hum of the refrigerator, even his own heartbeat. What once felt like emptiness now feels alive. Psychologists have found that quiet environments lower stress and improve focus. For older men who have spent decades in busy workplaces or family noise, silence becomes medicine. It soothes the heart and calms the nerves. Robert, a 68-year-old retiree, says his favorite part of the day is the quiet before sunrise. He sits by the window with tea and watches the sky change color. He calls it his sacred hour. That stillness gives him gratitude and strength. Silence does not always mean loneliness. It becomes what you make of it. Some fill it with music, others with reflection, prayer, or creativity. The secret is to embrace it, not fear it. Because within that silence, men often rediscover themselves, their thoughts, their memories, and their sense of purpose. If you are still watching, comment number 4 below to show you are here and still connected with the journey. And if you have not yet subscribed, please do, because elderly wisdom is here to bring peace, reflection, and inspiration straight to your screen. Truth number 5. A freedom to shape your own time. Another overlooked truth is how time itself changes shape for a man who lives alone. When no one else's routine controls his day, he learns to use time differently. Sometimes that can feel strange at first, but soon it becomes one of the greatest joys of solitude. He can decide when to wake up, when to eat, when to rest, and when to simply do nothing. That freedom is deeply healing. For a man who has spent years following the schedules of work deadlines or family expectations, it feels like taking his life back. Gerald, 72, says that after retirement, he realized he no longer had to answer to the clock. He could spend an afternoon tinkering in his garage or take a walk whenever he wanted. That freedom made him feel young again. It reminded him that life is not over after 70. It is simply lived on your own terms. Studies show that control over time is closely tied to happiness in older age. It is not about wasting hours. It is about savoring them, enjoying a cup of coffee longer than usual, listening to an old song twice, or taking an unplanned drive just because the weather feels right. That sense of freedom breathes new life into every day. When you live alone, your schedule is no longer dictated by anyone or anything. You become the author of your hours, and that is a powerful kind of peace. Truth number 6. A resilience that grows in solitude. The final truth might be the most powerful of all. Solitude becomes a teacher. It builds resilience not through grand lessons but through everyday moments. At first the quiet can feel heavy, but with time, it strengthens patience and steadiness. Every task done alone becomes a small act of courage, fixing a leaky faucet. Learning to manage bills or handling unexpected challenges teaches persistence. Each time he succeeds, he adds another layer to his confidence. Samuel, 68, once feared that retirement and solitude would break his spirit, but instead it made him stronger. He learned to cook clean, manage technology, and repair things around the house. Each small success reminded him he could adapt. He said, "Every task I complete adds a brick to the foundation of my independence." And that foundation gave him peace. Resilience does not always look loud or heroic. It often looks like getting up each morning, choosing gratitude, and continuing forward despite loneliness. That ability to recover quickly, to adapt calmly, and to face each day with purpose is one of the greatest gifts solitude can offer. When men learn to stand on their own, they no longer fear the silence or the space. They begin to trust life again. They know that no matter what comes, they have the inner strength to handle it, and that strength is the true mark of maturity. If you are still watching, comment number 6 below, because that tells me you are one of those who truly appreciate the depth of human experience. And if you have not yet subscribed to Elderly Wisdom, please do. Because every week we bring you more insights that honor the strength and wisdom of aging gracefully, living alone. Without a Woman is not a sad story. It is a story of transformation. It shows that solitude can reveal courage, patience, and peace. It is not about what is missing, but about what is growing inside. Each truth we shared today shows that independence can be beautiful. Self-reliance builds pride. A personal home reflects the soul. A chosen rhythm brings comfort. Silence brings peace. Freedom shapes time, and resilience builds strength. These are not signs of loss, but of growth. They show that men who live alone are not forgotten or broken. They are evolving into wiser, stronger, and more peaceful versions of themselves. If you are a man living alone, take pride in your path. You are not defined by what you lack, but by what you continue to build. You have the power to keep your mind active, to nurture your health, to connect meaningfully, and to live fully. Your solitude is not a weakness. It is a canvas where you paint your own story. One choice, one day. One moment at a time. And now I would love to hear from you in the comments. Share one truth that resonated with you today, and tell us how it reflects your own life. Your stories inspire others more than you know. If you found value in this video, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who might need to hear these words. Your support helps Elderly Wisdom grow and reach more people with content that informs, uplifts, and honors the beauty of later life. Thank you for being here with us today. Remember, solitude is not the end of connection. It is the beginning of knowing yourself more deeply. We will see you again in the next video on Elderly Wisdom, where we continue to celebrate strength, grace, and the wisdom that comes with age.